Hi everyone, today we are going to take you in a very important session, how to wear a single-use surgical cloth and N95 face covering masks. Today I will be taking you with the session with mostly will take 8 minutes to 10 minutes. Please feel free to pause the video anytime to read through the materials. After the session you need to sign your attendance with your departmental trainer for record. Thank you. Before we move to that, let's understand what single-use surgical face covering protect us from. It's very important to know that they are the mask designed with a material that can block the air, which may contain viruses or bacteria that may be harmful to you. Now let's start our session with the taking on and off single-use surgical face covering. As you can see, first step is putting on face covering, which has 8 steps. The first step is clean your hands. Wash your hand thoroughly with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Always use clean paper towel to dry your hands, and before throw it, use it to open or close the door. For step number 2, check the medical mask for defects. Sometimes the medical masks has some defects. If there is, please find out another mask for use. For step number 3, orient the top of the mask properly. Very important to fit the top of area in your mask to your nose. Ensure this bundles sides facing upward before applying the face covering to your face. For step number 4, ensure the proper side of the mask face outward. It's very important to know that the mask has 2 sides, white side and the blue side. Make sure that the white side of the face covering mask is facing towards your face. For step number 5, placing the mask on your face. There are many types of masks available: air loops, ties or straps, and bands. Please choose the appropriate for you. For step number 6, adjust the nose piece. Use your 2 fingers to pinch the bundle portion of the top edge of the mask around the bridge of your nose. For step number 7, tie the lower bands of the mask if needed. Now for step number 8, fit the mask to your face and under your chin. Adjust the mask to ensure it's cover your face completely, mouth, nose, and also the edges under your chin. Now let's move to take off the mask from your face. The first step is clean your hands. Before you remove your face covering mask, you might need to wash your hands, and this is very important. And if you have a gloves, maybe you need to remove it and clean your hands again. For step number 2, remove the face covering carefully. In general, removing the face covering mask by only touching the edges, strap, loops, or ties or bands. Do not touch the front portion of the face covering, it might be contaminated. For step number 3, dispose of your single-use face covering safely. Masks are designed to use only one time, so therefore you need to place it in trash immediately whenever you take it off. For step number 4, wash your hands again. Once you have disposed the single face covering mask, directly you need to clean your hands. It might be contaminated with the dirt of the mask. Now, one of the masks you can use also is cloth face covering. First, let's discover how to wear the cloth face covering. You should be aware with the following. It should be fit comfortably against the side of your face, be secured with the ties or the air loops, include multiple layers of fabric, and allow for breathing without restriction, able to be laundered and machine dried without damage or change the shape. Now, how does one safely can remove the cloth facing covering? You should be careful not to touch their eyes or nose or mouth when you're removing their face covering and wash hands immediately after removing. Washing and sterilizing the frequency. It's very important to clean the cloth covering mask and try to utilize the washing machine to do that. This is some tips and warnings that it can be utilized while you are using the masks. If soap and water is not available, you can use the hand sanitizer for at least 60% of alcohol content. Be aware, do not touch the front of the face covering mask. It may be contaminated. The masks are intended to be used once and by only one person. So once it's worn or dirty, please try to use another mask. Now let's move to another mask we can use, N95. Unless your current job require N95 mask, I prefer that you keep this as recommended by WHO, that makes can reserved for the medical community. Now the first step of using the N95 is that you need to choose the N95 mask that to filter out the air. After this, the second is to go with an R or B mask if you will be exposed to an oily atmosphere. And the step number 3, try on different size to get the best fit, which has different type of sizes. Make sure that small or medium or large appropriate for you. For step number 3, check with your doctor if you have respiratory condition. Otherwise, you need to use different masks. Very important part of the session, fitting your mask properly. So the mask should be fit properly with your face. You can see here that for step number 1, try to turn your facial hair before wearing your mask. So you can see here some of the styles that you need to be aware of. Step number 2, wash your hands well before putting on your mask. And for step number 3, cup the mask on the hands and place it over your mouth and nose. For step number 4, pull the bottom and top straps over your head. And for step number 5, mold the nose base around the bridge of your nose. For step number 6, carry out the user fit test. It's very important in this part that you try to do the breathing process, so you will be able to know if it's the mask fit your face or not. Now it's time to move to removing your mask. For step number 1, remove your mask by pulling the straps over the top of your head without touching the front of the mask. Try to do that. For step number 2, throw away your mask if you used it in a medical setting. If there is any touch or contact with the ill people, you need to throw it directly. Otherwise, you can go to the step number 3, rewear your mask as long as it stays dry and fits tightly. Now, there is some tips and warnings for using the N95. One of the most important things that you need to preserve the N95 for medical professionals. If soap water is not available, use the alcoholic content sanitizer. Discard the mask if it's wet or dirty on the side. Do not touch the front of the respiratory, it might be contaminated. An N95 mask cannot be cleaned or disinfected, so directly you need to throw it. The N95, it becomes more difficult to breathe, and if that's happened, throw it directly. Do not use N95 for the age people under 18. Now there is some questions and answer that I will leave it with you. Just pause the video and read it through. Now I want you to pause again the video and read through this slide. That's all from my side. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and really appreciate for keeping with me to the end of the session. See you inshallah soon in different classes. Don't forget to get yourself signed the attendance, which will be find on the departmental trainer after the session. Thank you very much. Good luck.